Welcome to another exciting edition of the $1 Million Peddlers. I'm Papergoy.
And I'm the birthday boy, Mr. Magazine.
And it's the Hump Day Happy Hour. And it is your birthday. That's kind of one of the reasons why we're dressed up today.
Well, that's why I'm here.
There you go. And we started the show today with, I don't know if it's pronounced Ohishi or Ohaishi, or it's Japanese rice whiskey.
Ohushi.
There you go. That was paint thinner.
They all taste the same at this point.
A little bit paint thinner there.
And I am back. Obviously, this is really me. It's not what's his name. My competition.
Oh, you have no competition. And as we said, it was your birthday, and happy birthday!
Thank you. I thank everybody. I'm going to do it in one shot. I thank everybody.
It's your birthday.
Moving on.
And shout out to a good friend of the channel, Primetime Treasure Hunter. Check him out after us. He's got Esme Starnes, seller on Mercari. A nice interview with that. So anybody that's interested in selling over on Mercari, trying a different venue, you may probably want to check that one out. So did you get a chance to check out last week's show?
Yep. I do apologize. I saved it on my notes to get to, and I just have not gotten to it yet. And I apologize. I should have made the time at this point, but I will get to that. I promise.
Random Neighborhood Kid did a really good job filling in, got a lot of positive feedback on that. And he kind of held me up. He said, in order for me to be on the show ever again as an emergency host, need to mention his eBay that he's selling on. He started to list some stuff around the house.
It's a good trade-off.
Yeah, listing as Random Neighborhood Kid. So he's got some
good name. Yeah,
got some neat things up there. Basically things around the house that aren't made out of paper. We're having him list. He's learning how to list, and he actually first couple of days he listed one item with my help, and today he listed what I gave him all by himself.
Well, is it all one word, or is it hyphens or anything like that?
It's all one word. Random Neighborhood Kid.
All right, so I think what we should do is, when he sells out of everything that he's listing in this house, there is a pod at 1625 North Clinton that I could sell him at a discount, and he'll be listing for years.
Or we can get into this a little later. Perhaps you might have a listing opening at some point. Who even knows?
That is a possibility.
It's like a few people are in the house.
All right, we're gonna start it off with first in line, Captain Whack and Cracker. How's it going? Appreciate the birthday. Lori, hello. Thrifty, healthy, and happy. I wish I were, but
you got to read it out loud. Everybody sees it in the feed.
Well, what's that? Is that there?
Yeah.
Ready for Rambling Story of the Week.
There you go. I may hire you.
Don's here early. I'm always loving that. Michelle, it is Wednesday already. Yep. And Friday I will not be here, but that's okay. We film on Wednesdays.
That's true. Yes, everybody wants to know your schedule the entire week.
Ron, how's it going, Ron? How you been? Unfortunately, Ron, the dumpster stuff was pretty much all junk. But there is some stuff at some point, some records and magazines we're going to set aside, and maybe we'll hook up at some point. I'll just leave them set aside in a pod for you at a later date. Jackass Retro. Okay, ahoy. Yes, we are in the house. Sensible Treasures. Appreciate it. All right. Jackass is watching along well, I can't really say that.
Oh yeah, sheet music. I think you misspelled sheet.
Oh, is that it? Okay. And Alan's here. How's it going, Alan?
Alrighty. So now with your you feel refreshed after your time off?
I feel like I never missed a beat.
There you go. Anything exciting happening in the world of Mr. Magazine?
Yeah, there's always some ups and downs. Sales are up, sales are down. My adult listings are diminishing. I think I'm in the 180,000 range my listings at this point. So that's not good, but we knew that was going to happen. A lot of big buys. It's been crazy, the buys I've been coming across lately. Not that I'm broke, but I feel like I'm broke.
Well, real quick, and then we'll go into, because I got a couple of questions for you about a few different things there.
Okay.
Actually, the other reason, not just your birthday, that I'm dressed up, the day job has actually released me into the field.
Wow.
It's kind of a hybrid job at this point. Some at home, some in the field, as I need to do so to stay on top of it.
Yeah.
Going to be really good news, because I've been chained to the kitchen table, and if there's been an estate sale out there, I need to actually take the time off or go on the weekend. Now I'm going to be hitting more random estate sales as opposed to targeted estate sales. only because if I'm out there on a Thursday and I'm between stops, or I finish up your stop and there's an estate sale 3 blocks away from where I happen to be at for my day job, I'm going to be stopping by. So maybe, you know, I may stumble across some finds that I haven't stumbled across for the last 15 months. So that should be exciting and interesting on that over there.
Looking forward to that change.
Very much so. Actually, without getting too deep into the weeds on my day job, I go to people's houses and businesses, and I went up to the 7 o'clock yesterday. I went to my first appointment, and I walked up wearing a mask and everything, you know, being safe. I don't know how people are going to react after all this. And I asked the gentleman when he answered the door, I said, "Do you mind if I take the mask off?" He goes, no problem. And he went to shake my hand, and he stuck his hand out the shit. Now I'm double vaccinated and everything. I'm absolutely fine with that. Yeah. So gone out three stops so far over the 2 days, and a lot of work at home. Nobody's asked me to mask. Nobody cares if I'm vaccinated. So it's just, I think everybody's just happy to have everything in the past, because everybody seems to be vaccinated in New York State. Little by little, but reason I kind of got into the day job now is because you said business has been up and down. Reminds me of the time I did work with the elevator company. Boom, boom.
Yeah, me too.
Where else are you going to get humor like that? Yeah. So why don't we jump right into not one of the topics, but one of the situations going on with Mr. Magazine. I alluded to it earlier in regards to perhaps you can hire a random neighborhood kid. He does have his work papers. Yep. Would there be an opening at Leon's?
There's definitely there's a few openings at this point. We've always needed some warehouse people, but I'm losing 2 of my better listers, veteran listers. They're moving on, trying to change it up in their life, and
following a dream. And you there's no, can't ever fault somebody for that.
Yeah, good for them. That's great. I wish them the best. Unfortunately, Mr. Magazine's got to move on, and we need some good listers to take their shoes. They got big shoes to fill, but so we're putting some feelers out in Indeed, Monster. So if anyone's local that is interested in either being a warehouse person for pulling orders and packing, or listing, definitely we're looking for interviewing some people.
And definitely what we're going to do in the future on the channel as well is kind of go through the whole process, how difficult it is, and the training process and all that kind of thing. Because a lot of people out there watching don't have employees and are afraid of taking that step, but are thinking that at some point they do need to take the step. Right. And I think they need to know just how difficult it is to find someone, and even just what goes into the training, because even teaching random neighborhood kid how to list, I have to step back and go over how to list, because for me at this point, it's all just second nature. Right. And he's asking, what about this? And he's stopping on some of the things on the screen that I just fly through, either because I have them pre-set up, or because I just, oh no, you don't have to worry about you don't have to worry about that. But maybe you do have to worry about it, because I'm on autopilot a lot of times. I'm listing. I fly through it, and maybe there was something there. Hey, maybe I should have clicked on that. Maybe I should have asked about that.
Yeah. Obviously, in the ad, we're looking for someone. We prefer them having some experience, but it's hard to find, a veteran eBayer that needs a job. They usually do it for themselves or whatever, So, but we'll see how it goes. We always seem to fill the shoes and, move on and, survive somehow. So,
that's
all right, let's see. Linda White's in the house. How's it going? Ron, anytime, buddy. Let's see. Captain Whack and Cracker. Appreciate that. Appreciate the silent Chuck and loud Papergoy.
Yeah, you better hope I'm loud. Otherwise, the show just two people staring at each other.
And Don, if you're interested in a position, I would pay for your airplane, your flight in. It's not an issue.
Daily?
Not daily.
She wants to commute.
No, but believe it or not, there is an apartment above my business. Now, here I didn't tell you this. Now, my assistant manager has a friend in Colorado where he used to live that is looking for a job closer towards the holiday season. But he's a veteran warehouse guy. And I said, we need one now, but we could use 2 later. But his major concern was, well, where do I live? I don't have any place to rent. I have, whatever. So I said, hey, you know what? I'm fixing up. I call it Cloud City. Now it's an apartment above my shop. I lived there for many years until I was about 15, and we moved. But we're fixing it up a little bit, so it'll have a bathroom, a kitchen, a TV room, living room. So maybe that'll work for someone. If not him, someone else.
That's actually a really good perk on that. Yeah, very good perk on that. So we went to a couple of sales. Went to a garage sale, and you're going to be excited to hear this. When I know you don't list on Amazon very often yourself, but whereabouts on a lot of the items you list, what are their sales ranks?
I just hear from employees like, oh my God, there's 10,000. That's great. You know, and anything under 1,000 is like incredible, which we've had over the years, you know, but generally tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands, I'm thinking in that range.
Well, somebody found at a garage sale something that was number 3.
Oh, the Da Vinci Code, but they only go for like a penny.
No, not the Da Vinci Code. Oh. What are you living in 2007? No, it was actually camcorder cassettes or camcorder.
Really?
It was the 3rd highest in the camcorder cassette thing. I paid
Jeez.
50 cents for it, and the guy kept saying, "Oh, you have a cassette player." He didn't even know what they were when he was selling them, but they were unopened.
Yeah.
Tells you how great the number 3 item is. It still hasn't sold. I listed it on Saturday, and it still hasn't sold.
You think it'd go in seconds? Because I actually really asked one of my employees, because we picked up a huge collection of the DVD box sets that were sealed, and they're flying off the shelf daily. They got to be low numbers, I'm guessing.
Yeah, definitely check into that there. Yeah, so I'll let you know when the number 3 camcorder cassette ends up selling, because then if you're out there searching on a number 5, you'll know how quickly that should sell.
I hope when it's in our 1,000th live show.
Thanks. You're a real pal. Other than that, didn't go to any flea markets, obviously, with it being the 4th of July. Didn't do any of that. Did get a big box of magazines in from my supplier out in the West Coast. He sent that in, and it's the kind of stuff that you would absolutely hate. And even if you had, even if your employees were staying, it would get into the scared pile and never get out of it. Romanian magazines, Ukrainian magazines, all that kind of stuff. So I was busy with the Google Translate on the phone, which anybody that doesn't know how to do that, you can watch a video we have up on how to do that. It's real easy. You just basically point and push a button, and it does a translation on it for you. Come to find out that one of the Ukrainian magazines actually has a story by Agatha Christie in it.
Wow.
So I listed that a little bit high just because I said somebody out there is an Agatha Christie fan and had no idea this was sitting in there.
Absolutely.
And actually one of the Ukrainian magazines did get a bid on it.
Nice.
So it had a really nice back cover of Diane Carroll, actress from the 60s and 70s, and The Fifth Dimension. So I'm not sure.
White Collar. I'm watching that again, that miniseries.
Oh, she in that?
Yeah, she is.
Oh, shows what I know. So it was a lot of fun on the 4th because I ended up listing the entire box of magazines. I think I got 85 or 80 magazines listed in one day there, and they weren't easy lists by any means whatsoever, but I was actually really, really enjoying it because that's fun stuff to me to list, because, one of the last ones that I listed at all was the one that had the Agatha Christie. So each magazine, you have no idea what might be in it because, it's some obscure German magazine. I don't know what's in it. Yeah. But again, that would definitely go on your scared pile, I'm pretty sure.
When I retire and sell off my Star Wars magazines, you can list all my foreign ones. I've been buying some Russian ones.
Oh, have you been?
Yeah, very cool.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah. Wanted to give another quick shameless plug like we do every week. I definitely do appreciate the people that hit the affiliate link. People do it every single week, and it really does help the channel out, and we definitely
hold on. More importantly, amen to Jesus. Resellers in the house. Appreciate the birthday. Thank you. Okay, go ahead.
Well, of course your birthday's more important.
That trumps it, please.
But again, all you have to do is on any one of our videos, you just read the description of the video. You'll see down below some links to items on Amazon, links to our stores on eBay, et cetera, et cetera. Just click on a link to any site, either site, log in like you normally would, and anything you purchase, we may get a commission back on, and we definitely do appreciate it. So thank you to everybody that has done that. It definitely does help us out.
You're welcome.
Well, thank you as well. I do have to thank you. I thank you every week.
All right. Well, it's never enough.
There you go. I can't argue with that. Etsy, haven't sold anything, but I've been listing one a day. Viv's Views actually sold, Viv's Dash Views actually sold a postcard this morning.
Okay.
So basically, this is kind of an interesting journey that I think a lot of people out there are going to follow along on, because the question comes, how many items do you need up in order to make steady sales? And I'm going to say the Viv's Views has, I don't know, 150 postcards, something other like that up. And we're selling one a week right now on average. Now, obviously, it makes a difference what I'm listing, et cetera, et cetera. But at 150, we're doing one a week. And the $1 Million Peddlers selling the comic books is selling about one every other week at about 170 listings.
So what was your question? How many what?
How many listings do you have to have up till you do a sale a day?
My answer would be more.
That's probably pretty good. Yeah.
You need whatever it is more.
Seems to be working on that. Yeah. But again, with just under 200 listings, doing about one a week. So it's just kind of gives everybody out there a little bit of perspective. If you're just starting out, that's, and again, it does depend upon what you're listing and all that kind of stuff as well.
All right. I'm going to give a holla out to Jason Holla.
Nice.
Alan Nelson. How's it going? Thanks for the thumbs up.
Smash that like button. Thank you.
We
need that's the other thing we need everybody out there for to help us out.
Oh, you spelled Mr. Magazine wrong. You spelled it you guys. But okay, that's all right. Close enough.
I have a question for you.
All right.
I'm going to do a symbol, a hand gesture, but not the one that I usually do behind your back. I'm going to do a different hand gesture, and I want you to tell me what this means.
Oh, jeez, here we go.
And I'm going to do my best to do it. It's going to look at, what's this mean?
Like, okay?
Yep.
Okay.
You are correct. I went online to search just to make sure that this means okay.
In Italian, it's okay. I don't know what other language was.
I went online and searched.
Okay.
I, Papergoy, got a negative feedback.
Okay. Wow.
On an item.
That's a rare thing.
On a Time magazine.
A leap year.
Negative feedback. So I went down and checked the feedback out, and it was the emoji like this that said okay. So
nice.
My negative feedbacks are that my items are okay.
Yeah, that's good.
I'm not sure if I could contact eBay or not to get it taken off or not, but it just made me laugh really, really hard. And I definitely wanted to leave it on, certainly through the show, because it's good content for the show. I'm like, wow, I can get a negative feedback that's, hey, everything's okay.
I think if it made a difference, like I'm always going from, 97 to 98 or whatever, 99.7. So I think if it made the difference where I went to 7 because of it, I probably could call up and they would probably change it just to give me back to 90. But other than that, they probably wouldn't care.
No, and it because I've got enough positives, it stayed at 100% despite it.
Right.
And one thing out there, if you do get a negative or a neutral feedback, do take advantage of the reply to feature on there where you can comment on it. And I forget exactly what I wrote, but I basically wrote, something or other along the lines of, feel confident buying from me when my worst review is it's okay.
That is true. Yeah. It's a good selling point. Yeah.
It really is. Even people get mad at me say, oh, it's okay.
Yeah, that's good.
But yeah, so I'm not certain how I ended up getting a negative out of that, but it did make me laugh a little bit. Oh, and continuing the saga of the Vivs-Views, they raised the limit from 250 items up to 290.
Okay.
But again, when you read what they tell you that they're going to do it at the beginning of every month. They did it 2 weeks ago in the middle, near the end of June, and they just did it yesterday. They raised it again. So I'm not sure exactly when they're going and raising the limits on it. I mean, I'm happy that they are. And at this point, I'm only listing, one postcard a day on there. But it's good to, if I all of a sudden got in a big listing mood, that I wouldn't be bumping up against the ceiling so quickly on that. Yeah. So it's kind of just interesting to follow that along as well. And it's kind of fun, because you and I have a lot of items up and we're kind of established sellers on all of that, that it's kind of fun to be doing something a little bit different, because I forget what it's like to build something from scratch. I forget what all that's, and again, I know we've talked about it before, but I'll bring it up again. What is your selling limit dollar-wise on eBay?
I just checked yesterday, and I think I'm $150,000 below Donald Trump. I think it's like $5.5 billion.
It's billion with a B. Yeah, you can list.
I can list $5.5 billion worth. I think Trump's at like 5.6. But yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, 5 points in, and I'm so old on my listing, my being on there, that I know yours shows up. It tells you how many items.
It's funny. I look all the time like, man, if I had that real limit, like I could list, I wouldn't even be on eBay. What's the point? Right.
And my account's as old as yours, maybe a touch older. I know we're right around the same time. my limits don't even show, and I can't find my limits. I have no idea. I mean, as far as I know, I don't have any limits, or if I do, they're like yours, are so high up that
$1 trillion, $1 trillion.
There you go. What difference does it make? So that was kind of the thing that caught me by surprise when I was listing. Was whoa, what do you mean I can only list so many items? Whoa, what the heck? Because we're so used to being old on all that. Yeah. Hey, did you notice? I was listing something or other today on.
No.
Yeah, probably not.
Just being honest.
I was listing something or other today, and you know how down in the payment options, it has the manage payments. Mm-hmm. Look underneath there, other offline payments, and
other offline. Okay.
And if you click on that, it opens it up, and you can put down either cash on pickup, somebody can pick a local pickup, whatever they call local pickup. But there's another thing there that says check.
Oh,
remember how years ago eBay was doing away with checks? Now there actually is a spot where you can check a box that you will accept checks.
Can you leave it checked for everything? Or okay, we should look into that.
Yeah, yep. And I just saw that today. I hadn't seen it before. I'm sure it's been on there, but I hadn't seen that before. So yeah, many years ago, eBay wouldn't allow you. I mean, you were allowed to take checks, but the buyer had to ask you if you took it. They then had to purchase the item. Then you could send them your address. Yeah. Well, now they actually is a spot there where you can say, yes, I accept checks.
Yeah, very cool. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. Sometimes.
Honest Chuck. Yes, that is me. I appreciate that. I do want to go into something for a second, unless you have something.
I've got plenty to talk about, but go ahead. It's your show.
I think I mentioned the Papergoy today. We started listing on the ASO adult stuff only site. I've been waiting, to get closer to that July 15th mark when eBay shuts everything down. But I wanted to ask people's opinions because I'm tied because for how many years? 20 years we've been taking offers, putting things on sale on eBay. And right now we're just starting out to getting the feel for the company and putting cheaper magazines on. So like I was going with $10.99, $15.99. But my thoughts are I really don't want to put them on offer because I'm going to be getting $5, $6, $7, and I'm already giving them a discount at these cheaper prices, So and then they give you the option like eBay, but the free shipping. Well, if I do the free shipping, then I got to put it up for $20, $25, and it seems like it's too high for the item for $10.99 plus the shipping. Well, because it's like $7, and then if you have two, it's like $9 priority. So my thoughts are, would people prefer the higher price, free shipping? Or just the lower price plus the shipping. So right now I got the lower price plus shipping. That to me it looks you're buying a $10 item and you're paying the shipping instead of you're buying a $20 item, but it's really only $10, but the shipping's included. So
probably
I'm testing the waters.
Probably my thought on that, even though I do free shipping on eBay, my thought on that would probably be charge the shipping, especially if you're not taking offers, because it's a specialty site. And you're probably going to have people buying multiples. Right. And if they're buying the multiples, you're giving a discount on the shipping as they buy more. Right. So I think that if you're not taking offers and you're asking $20 free shipping and I buy 3, I'm paying $60. If you're offering,
that's what I was thinking. That's going to be another issue. And I don't know how the system is set up at this point. Like I said, we're testing everything out.
Yeah. Whereas if I buy 3 at 15 and it's supposed to be $15 shipping, well, I'm at 45 and you give me shipping for 11. So now I'm at 56. I actually paid less. Right. And there's more of an incentive to add more items on. That would be my opinion.
I did the same handling fee like I would do on eBay. But generally on eBay, like my $10 item or $11 item would be 15 or 16. But then I would take the offer of 8, 9, 10, 11, whatever. So
and another thing too is because it's a new site and nobody really has a reputation on the site. Yeah. I think you want to get some sales. I think you want to build, build your positives. Try not to get a negative feedback that says, okay, like Papergoy gets. And I think that a lower price and going for volume sales until you get no one on the site is definitely the way to go.
We're putting, decent stuff, but cheaper stuff that maybe we wouldn't put on eBay because, there's more competition. We'd have to sell cheaper, so but we'll see how it goes. We're testing the waters, but we got some good stuff as well coming up. All right, let's see what we got going on here.
I use check images in my bank app all the time for PTV, Instagram. Okay, I don't know what any of that means.
That's why I put up there. I thought you would know that one.
Well, it must be answering somebody else in the feed, probably.
My kid used to have a PSP, and I know they go for like $100 or $200 now, but I don't know what a P2P is.
PSP, PlayStation Pro?
Yeah. I think
hey, look at me. Look at me.
All right. Yeah. You're an old timer as we are, an eBay old timer.
Yeah, I was just checking today.
We're right around there.
1998, I was on there.
Yeah.
Yep, I was just checking today, as a matter of fact. There you go. A lot of just talk amongst yourself.
Sure.
Act like we're not here. Talk amongst yourself.
Perfect.
I had another quick thing over here to talk about. So you list, as I do, on many different eBay sites using the web interpret.
Yep.
And when something or other sells, whether it's on a foreign site or it's on eBay USA, they tend to end a bunch of items.
Right. Yeah.
So in other words, I've got a January 1st, 1981 Time magazine listed on the United States site, because that's where I automatically list it.
Yeah.
Web interpret takes it and pushes it out potentially to, I don't know, 6, 7, 8. Well, how many of our sites they push it out to, but they don't always push it out to every site. They may, for instance, take this one and push it out to France, Canada, and Germany. And the next one they might do to England, France, and Canada, whatever their algorithm. And you're also only allowed so many on each site, 10,000, I believe, on each site. So they decide which ones it ends up going on. Well, what ends up happening is if you sell it on any venue, it then shows up in your unsold listings with all the different languages.
I know, trust me. I want to get into that for a minute when you're done with this. I got an issue myself.
Okay. So what will end up happening is that Time magazine sells on the United States site.
Yeah.
Then in your unsold listings, it'll show up that it did not sell on Canada, did not sell on Germany, it did not sell, and it'll have the language that it was listed and all that kind of stuff. And you can kind of trace through.
Yeah.
Today, I sold a Paris Hilton promo CD.
Oh, good for you.
Good for me. I think it went for $15. I was happy to get that out of a CD.
Was good time on there with Lil Wayne.
I forgot. I could go find it and listen. We can open it and listen to it.
I was curious.
But so that CD ended up selling, and I go in regularly into my unsold listings because I want to relist the things that ended auction that didn't sell, et cetera, et cetera.
Yep.
But then what I do is I delete the unsold listings that actually sold.
Right.
Well, a Paris Hilton CD, the same CD, showed up with a little note underneath it. It said, "We have ended this listing." What did it say? It said, "We have ended this listing as no sales. Before you relist it, revise it." And I said, "No, you ended the listing because it's sold."
Revise what though?
In other words, revise what it was saying was eBay ended that listing on whatever, eBay France or whatever, because it hadn't had any sales for a long time. So it wasn't going to sell. And if I wanted to relist it on eBay France, I should revise it to make it sell better. And I said, "No, you ended it because it sold. Do you even know what you're doing?" So you were going to go into a question or a story about
so I do all my relists like you just mentioned you do. So I can control the price. Because I usually add a few bucks onto it and I put the offer in, so it's going to sell cheaper anyways, which I'm fine with. The problem I'm having now is that between all the web interpret sales that are showing up in between the legitimate ended items that I want to put into my store, now I'm dealing with 80,000 adult ones in there too.
Oh, geez.
So my problem is this. Now I have 1,000 pages, 200 per page, whatever, 5, 6, 7. I think it's 700 pages, 200 per page. And I can't just jump to a page. So like say today I want to spend a half hour and I'm going through page 1 through 50. Tomorrow I have to start at 1 to get to 51. There's no other way.
You can't go to page 127.
If there's a way, I would love to know. And secondly, is there a way to just search on
United States?
Well, that number one, or just the items I want to relist and get rid of all the riffraff, adult stuff, the web interpreter.
Are there any drop downs up above for categories?
We should look into them. I don't think so, but I mean, I'd love there to be an easy way, but it's one of those things where if I put it off a week or two, everything's going to get pushed back. It's going to be more. And sometimes I'll miss items and they'll end, and I didn't get a chance to relist them. So you get that 90-day window. So I always try to do it from the highest number, the older stuff, and go back.
Yeah, because otherwise they're just getting lost in there.
It's crazy. Yeah, exactly.
I mean, I had a similar thing happen, but it was a one-time thing, and that was when they moved me into managed payments, and it happened to you as well.
Yeah.
They ended all those things, but I was right on top of it,
right?
Where nothing was ending at auction at the time, and then all of a sudden it's like, okay, I just had whatever it was, 25,000 items all end.
Right.
Well, I know they're all from this date on back, so I'm not even going to worry about those.
Right. So, what I was doing was I was trying to just search on certain things. So like Victorian trade card. And then I would relist all the Victorian trade card. Or I had code 3 fire trucks. I would list them. So I was thinking of some things that were popular that I was selling that people wanted to buy once they went into.
So what you can do, it's going to take you a while. But what you can do is you can go onto eBay itself, do a search on Mr. Dash Magazine.
Okay.
Do a search on ended, completed listings. And then see what ended with no bids. And then you've got some items to search on, or you could click on those one by one. You don't want to do it one by one, but if it's a one-off item, you're going to have to do it one way or the other. So you just do a search that way. You click on that item and then you hit relist that way. And then you relist it to the store. That sounds like a lot of work.
Let's try it though. See if we can get something more streamlined for Monday. See if we can do that.
Notice your finest for Jet magazines, Chuck.
Yeah.
Complete accident. Found some up for offer. I'm pretty certain $30 is not cutting it, and multiple $20 magazines in a lot.
Nice. Yeah. There are some good ones in there. I just had a gentleman call me out of state. He has 1,000 of them, and I bought them before in bulk, but he sees what these people are asking at these high prices. He wanted a little too much for him, so I said, "Hey, try and sell them yourself. If not, I can make you a fair offer."
Oh, remember, and you I don't want to spoil last week's live show for you, which you're going to watch at some point.
Before I do my Instagram.
Oh, that's good. At least it's before the Instagram and not after. So you're saying I've got a chance.
Yeah, exactly.
So do you remember back a few weeks ago where Merch by Amazon said no to me?
Yes. Yeah.
I did absolutely nothing whatsoever. And then all of a sudden, out of the blue, middle of last week, just before the live show last week to give us some content, they said you're approved. So I'm on Merch by Amazon.
Very cool.
So I had a few t-shirt ideas that Random Neighborhood Kid and I had designed together, and finally got around to, on the weekend, putting the first one up. And if you've never done Merch by Amazon, it takes some getting used to. You get a lot of errors on it. Because I'm what they call tier 10, which means I can only put up one item a day up to it. I'm only allowed to have a total of 10 t-shirt designs up total.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Et cetera, et cetera. I finally got all the glitches worked out on how to get something or other up to them.
Okay.
Went and I put the t-shirt, put it in. About 4 hours later, they rejected it.
Wow.
And I said, oh, geez. And I'm not really sure why. I think I might have to do with something or other with the artwork or something or other like that, because it
wasn't naughty.
No, it was not naughty at all. No. I'll tell you what it is, because I can't put it up. It was a red, white, and blue United States. With on it, it said, America, simply the best.
Okay.
And it got rejected. I don't know if simply the best is a trademark or something of somebody. Who knows what that happens to be. Yeah. But it did get rejected. So then I came up with another idea for a t-shirt that I had. It's text only, because I said, maybe, Random Neighborhood Kid, he uses royalty free things all the time. Maybe for some reason or other that design wasn't allowed or something like that. So a text only one, and we went and put it up. And it's been 2.5 days, and they're still reviewing it. So it's taken their robots a long time to figure out whether or not that's a good one or not. So I will keep you apprised of the Merch by Amazon and how well that ends up working.
Yeah, very cool. So Linda, if you're asking me, you could be asking Papergoy. He sells them as well. He might say some Russian magazine. But, I guess if I had to think of one, it's got to be Playboy, just because there's so many different levels of Playboy. The regular issues, you got the foreign ones, the special edition. So every day I'm selling 15, 20 of them, so that's probably going to be my number one steady seller.
I don't know. That's actually a really good question. Because I get a lot of, from my the dealer out on the West Coast that sends me things. Like Illustrated London News sells very well for me.
Yeah.
Things like that. Like I just sold a Country Life, which is another English magazine. I tend to do well with a lot of the foreign magazines. And I don't really have a lot of the common magazines listed. I mean, I've got some Time magazines, some Newsweek, but I don't have a lot of any given magazine listed. So I'm going to say it's going to be probably some bizarre, it's not quite Russian magazine, but probably like Illustrated London or something like that. I sell an awful lot of.
Nice.
Oh, you can read the stuff.
Oh, wow. You usually take over. I'm allowed to talk now.
I look like Gilbert. Nice. I look like Gilbert Godfrey trying to read.
Yes, you cannot hide charm. Well, maybe Paperboy can hide his charm. Well, we're still looking into that one.
So what we had on here, thank you, by the way. What we had on here as a subtopic, and we're probably going to explore this a little more in depth in the future. But the subtopic today is, and I want to pick your brain on it. Do you need your own website going forward to be uber successful?
That is a good question, and it's a tough one. I mean, I guess it depends on what you want out of it, because, like, obviously, when did I start Mr. Magazine? 10 years ago, at least. Probably
right after the Canada
and
deal.
you always hope that you're going to sell a lot of stuff on there, and then you get all these people in your email like, "Oh, we can do the SEOs. Pay me money. We'll get you higher on the searches." And I didn't do any of that. I just didn't think it was worth it at the time. But as years went on, I didn't have a lot of sales. But what I was making more money on was people finding the website. The older it got, it was higher up in the searches for buying magazines. So every day from Mr. Magazine, I got someone emailing me, "Hey, I got this collection of magazines. Would you buy this? Would you come out to Ohio or Georgia?" So, it ended up, the need for my website changed from wanting to sell on there, from wanting to buy from customers on there. And then the new Dirty Magazine one, that one we're strictly going to be, we're going to be selling on there mainly. That's our main goal there. So, because
I'm opening a Shopify store. I've got the papergoy.com. I hired somebody to help me work on the website because could I do it? Probably. I don't have the time. I really do not have the time. And I'd rather have somebody.
When you want it done right too. Not that I'm saying you can't do it, but
no, right.
An expert, you don't have to stress out. And I did the same thing,
Yep. And I'm actually using the same person that you used. So I've got a working relationship and a rapport with that person because, they came recommended when you first called her.
Right. Yeah.
And then I worked with her a little bit with your site, and she knows how your site was setting up. So, and I also knew what questions she had asked you and what difficulties there were with setting up your site.
Right.
And so I could just cut right to the chase, and I, could say, look, I've got this many items compared to Mr. Magazine's number of items.
Right.
I don't sell this kind of product versus him selling that kind of product, et cetera, et cetera. So we can kind of streamline the process, which will definitely help.
Yeah.
But it's not cheap.
No.
You pay to have it designed, pay to have it set up. You pay to have it hosted. You pay on the Shopify. You pay to have all the items brought over, and it's a lot of money that I'm sinking into it. My thought was I'm going to need it at some point.
Right.
Because if you are hitched only to eBay or Amazon, you just never know. You never know what happens with those sites. You all of a sudden run afoul of some rule of theirs, and all of a sudden, you're on a 3-day suspension, a 7-day suspension, or Amazon is notorious for just buy. Kind of deal. Their AI decides that you shouldn't be on the site anymore, and that's pretty much it.
Yeah.
Good luck appealing that.
Look at me with the risk area that I'm in over nonsense. All the copyright infringement.
Well, why don't you talk about that real quick?
So what was it, a couple weeks ago, maybe I was just looking at my sellers dashboard and Amazon, looking at my health. I randomly do it maybe once or twice a month, and it says you're at risk. Is that how they word it? At risk. So I'm in the middle. So there's green, which I'm, for the last 10 years, I'm generally in green. And this time I noticed, since the middle, it's in yellow, right? And then the red's the critical. So I'm like, what am I at risk for? Like, what did I do? That I'm looking at all my issues, and obviously the adult stuff is always going to be an issue, but we've had that for 10 years where, you can't list something, a title, and then we don't list it anymore. The problem is it's still stuck in our inventory, zeroed out, is having a policy violation of an item, a title of whatever magazine. So, and it might happen 2, 3, 4, 5 times a year. We're going to get these strikes, even though we're not selling any anymore. We did sell them at one point and we stopped. So that was one thing. And now this newest thing now is these companies that are doing the copyright infringement, like McDonald's. So you can't have a NASCAR Hot Wheels car that says McDonald's. That's against McDonald's policy for whatever reason. They don't want you selling their item, or Star Wars items, or just certain items in general that there was one, wasn't it? Michael Jackson was inside of a Rolling Stone magazine with Britney Spears on the cover. And for whatever reason, they knew that Michael Jackson's company knew that, and that's a violation.
Right. To anybody out there, basically, we're listing off of items that are already in the database. And I'm making part of this up because I don't remember the specifics, but it'll be like Rolling Stone number 567, April 12th, 1998. Britney Spears, Michael Jackson, which is
his name wasn't even in the title.
Oh, it wasn't even
in the title. Yeah, crazy. Nuts.
Now that's insane.
It is.
I thought his name was in the title on that. Wow.
I was thinking over what could we do about this, and obviously getting a hold of someone at Amazon, just forget about it. They were no help whatsoever. They don't understand that we're not selling it now. We sold it before, and it shouldn't even be a violation. And then they said, well, you have to check every listing you list for this violation beforehand. I said, well, we probably had 500,000 items on over the last 10 years, and only out of those 500,000, 1,000 are really an issue.
But that's not even the problem. The problem is, and I'm making a little bit up here. We'll just say that and again, I'm not an NASCAR fan by any means, but we'll say it was a number, I don't know, Darrell Waltrip number 3 McDonald's car. We'll just say that's what it was. And by Racing Champions, 1998, 1/24 scale.
Right.
That was listed in 1999 on Amazon. Yeah. It was fine in 1999. It was fine in 2000. It was fine It was fine until June 30th, 2021.
Right, exactly.
All of a sudden on that day, it's no longer okay to have that item listed on Amazon because it said McDonald's in the title. How can you possibly avoid that unless you can go into the future, see what you're not allowed to have listed, go back in the past and take it off, because something could be okay today.
Right.
And tomorrow morning I wake up and I have a violation because it was listed, but it was okay the day it was.
Well, they're saying call McDonald's or call NASCAR or call Michael Jackson and then get a letter from them saying it's okay. I mean, it's just outrageous. So I guess the only solution, well, here's another problem. Say my sister's selling, magazines in her house, and one of those is a violation. Well, she might only have 100 or 1,000 items up, and this one issue is not a big deal to Amazon. But if I have 250,000 items,
and one out of every 1,000 is that
exactly.
Item.
So that's why it's hurting me, the sheer volume I do, and I don't know, about some of these things. So I guess what we're trying to do now is, and I don't know if this is even a solution, but I'm having my employees go in and delete the old listings. So whatever the violations are, we're pulling them up because they're zeroed out. We can't sell them anyways. And most of the stuff we did sell years ago. So it's not like we even have it now. It's all old inventory. And we're deleting them right out of our database. So hopefully we can change the number of violations now, which is 1,000 or whatever. But moving forward, it shouldn't strike us again. That's what we're hoping to do.
Yeah, that's insane. Yeah. And so that's one of the other reasons why I'm realizing that in the future, I definitely will need to have a website of some kind.
Right.
And I've got 2 3/4 years till I retire. And I do have the day job right now. So I have the luxury of financing the site month after month as a money pit.
Right.
I have that luxury while I have the day job.
Sure.
And I do realize it takes a while to build up. Right. So my thought was, let's get the site up and running in the near future, as opposed to waiting 3 years when I'm retired, saying, okay, now let's get up and running, sinking money into it, not having the money to do it. And like everything else, like I've sold one item on Etsy so far in 2 or 3 months, whatever it is. I'm still listing an item a day. It's the same thing with the website. You're going to get I know I'm going to get very discouraged. And I think that's what happens to you on some of these things over here as well. Yeah. That you just get discouraged and you say, geez, I've listed an item, I've listed items on it and nothing is sold. Nothing. Why am I doing it? Yeah. But you just have to keep doing it until you reach a critical mass of some sort on the website.
Well, it's just stress for the whole Amazon thing because I'm looking at like, geez, I could get kicked off of Amazon and I'm not really doing anything wrong. There's no knowledge, and I'm not hurting anybody. These are old listings. It's just absurd. But I do like the good thing about the eBay losing the adult stuff. My stress is raised. There's no stress anymore because I don't feel like I have any shot of ever getting kicked off at this point now. There's no reason for it. So that's one good plus for that. So amen to Jesus. I wouldn't call Papergoy Michael Jordan.
Oh no, he says I'm like Dennis Rodman.
Oh, I thought I was Dennis Rodman.
I think I would look better with green hair in a wedding dress.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
You're trying to say you'd look better with green hair in a wedding dress?
Certainly not.
Maybe we'll do that for a Halloween show.
So yeah. Well, it looks like Amen to Jesus took some of our shots, a little too many before that comment.
Wow. Oh, hi, Shire. Oh,
yeah, exactly.
Yep, there we are.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, sure.
So I'll let you all kind of follow along as well when the website gets up, and it's a lot of work, and I know a lot of people out there are thinking about doing it. So I'll be the guinea pig on that, as it were, and make the mistakes and let you know what to avoid on it and kind of how to go about doing it. Because again, I knew I needed to do it at some point, so we'll end up doing that over
Definitely,
there. Hey, Primetime,
how's it going?
Yep, and for anybody out there, check him out after us. He's got a Mercari seller interview. So anybody interested in learning a new site,
cool.
Go check him out.
Yeah, thank you, appreciate it.
Yeah, definitely do. Thank you. Run through there, and we'll get into the main topic. The whole process with Amazon has been more hassle than it's worth, and the categories are different here than the American site, it seems. Actually, it's funny. I am maybe on Amazon Canada. I was on Amazon Canada years ago.
Yeah, me as well.
And I listed items on Amazon Canada, comic books only, and I probably sold about 5 a year. And I haven't sold an item on Amazon Canada in about 4 years. So my expectation is I'm probably not still on there, because I did find the box the other day, and there's actually some comics in there that have gone up in value. So I said, I got to pull the stuff out. Yeah. There might be, for all I know, there can be an Eternals #1 sitting in that box or something or other good like that, because back 5, 6, 7 years ago when I listed it, it wasn't good. Yeah. So things do change.
I got kicked off, remember? Yeah. My rating was very low.
Here's a quick story on that. This is a bonus rambling story of the week. So this is one of the greatest of all time, as far as you can ask Mr. Magazine. I get blown off a lot by companies with the dumbest excuses. I try to ride on Mr. Magazine's coattails on various things, because he's a lot larger as far as the company goes and all that kind of stuff. So he got an offer from Amazon way back when. I don't know, was it probably 12, 15 years ago? It was a long time ago.
10 years probably, yeah.
Where they were going to take all of his listings on Amazon America, Amazon USA, and broadcast them out to Amazon Canada. Now, this was before the programs that they have now. This was kind of a beta test kind of deal. Yeah. And so you had all of your listings on Amazon USA and Amazon Canada.
Yeah, it was. I don't know if it was a full amount, but it was darn close to whatever. I say I had 100,000 listings, maybe 75,000 were pushed over or something, whatever it was. The problem, as I recall, is they weren't synced. Correct. So if Mr. Magazine sold a whatever, we'll just say a June 20th Time magazine from 1978 on the American site, it would still be live on the Canadian site. So what he would need to do would be go onto the Canadian site and end the item. Well, there's no way you could do that, because I don't know how many items. No, it was 50, 30 items, whatever it was. Yeah, 50 a day or something like that. Well, you were just starting into the program, and you had a contact over at Amazon, et cetera, et cetera. Yeah. So I said, hey, I'd be willing to do that as well. Contact them and see if they could, because I'm, if I'm selling 4 or 5 items a day, 3, 4, 5 items a day, I can stay on top of it. I can end those items on Canada. Yeah. So I said, hey, contact talk to your contacts, see if they can have them do that for me. They couldn't do it for me. Do you remember what their excuse was? Wasn't it bandwidth? We don't have the bandwidth to bring your items over.
You're Amazon. I think you have the bandwidth to bring 10,000 of my items over.
Well, they're bringing my items over. If they got enough bandwidth for me, they should have some left over for you.
You used all of it, and they did not have room for 10,000 extra. Talk about a blow-off.
And I still think they don't sync still to this day, because I get those invites from Mexico, like all over the world. And I think every now and then we'll entertain it, and they're like, they do not sync it. So it's really based for smaller companies. Then it's easier to keep track of inventory.
Oh, thank you, Primetime. Yep, like I said, I know it has to be. And then the other advantage is in 3 years when I do retire, I can hit the ground running. The site will have been up.
Yeah.
And maybe it'll be, even if it's just break even at that time. Now, one thing that I think, and then we'll get into the main topic, one thing that I think that you need to do on a site, which I think is a flaw of yours on Mr. Dash Magazine, I think you need to list content that is just on the website to give people a reason to visit it.
Yeah. Which we do on a Dirty Mags for sure.
Right.
But yeah, it's not a bad idea. Yeah.
Just because if I can find all of your items on Amazon, or I can find all of your items on eBay, why am I going to the website?
Exactly. No, that's true. That's a good point.
So that is one thing that I definitely am going to do on the website itself, is I'm going to have items that are only available that are not available anywhere else.
Right.
And as I'm going out and seeing things, I'm saying that looks like I'm calling them website exclusive. And I'm even going to have an area on the website that says website exclusive.
That's a good idea.
Just to try to get people in to say, hey, what's he got that isn't just on these other sites?
Yeah.
So
very cool.
Into the main topic, which I sprung on you. I sprung it on you earlier in the week, but the title is Summer Sales Slowdown Slump Strategies. She sells seashells by the seashore.
Yes.
So how should you deal with the summer slowdown? I'm assuming your sales are a little bit lower right now.
They're dipping a little bit. It's inconsistent. We got some really good days, average days, but I don't know if it's because the adult stuff is slowing down gradually every day. But I can tell when I have a low day on Amazon and eBay, that's obviously summer slowdown. But for me, I'm looking at it as a whole, and I'm going to look at the reason as the eBay adult. So what can I do to fix it? Because that's a bigger money loss than just a few sales daily for the summer slowdown. And what I'm doing now is I'm trying to do less with Amazon and more with eBay, because Amazon's pretty consistent for what I have on there. If I pump listings on Amazon, I'm not going to increase sales because it's more long-term, where eBay is the short-term, so we're going to start putting more stuff on eBay to compensate that, I think.
Now, what about, have you been using Markdown Manager with sales or any of that on eBay?
Yeah, we've still been doing that. Yeah.
Has that been helping?
It seems to be consistent, staying the same, nothing out of the ordinary. Yeah.
So basically, the way I'm looking at it now, my sales have been pretty good the last couple of days, and a lot of people have said
me as well. Yeah,
pretty good through the holiday.
Yeah.
And one thing that a couple of people reached out to me and said, and then because they said this to me, I was paying a little bit more attention when I was doing my packing. They were saying international sales seem higher.
Yes, as well. Yeah, I agree to that too. Yep.
Yep. And it isn't just the Web Interpreter International; it's just international in general.
Yeah.
So I'm not certain why that is. I mean, I'm glad that it is.
Yeah, I would say 10, 15, maybe even 20%. The last few days have been my eBay sales been international. Yeah, definitely.
Okay, so that's really good as well, and that definitely helps. They're on different. Obviously, they didn't celebrate the 4th of July,
right,
et cetera, et cetera. So they're on different schedules, and I don't necessarily know what their school schedules are. Summer versus winter, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
So they're on different schedules than we are, which that helps alleviate some of it, because over here, everybody's so excited, about getting out, going on vacation, all that kind of stuff, that I think a lot of people aren't necessarily sitting home shopping on eBay, obviously.
Right. Yeah.
My thought on it, and this was kind of what I was thinking on over the long weekend as I was listing a lot of stuff, is, and I know I've mentioned this before in the show, but I think that what you need to do is you need to think in your head, the sales are where the sales are. And as long as you are in the situation that you can weather slower sales for a little while. Now, obviously, if it's the 30th of July and rent's due tomorrow, you got to do what you got to do to make the sale. I mean, you just absolutely have to. I mean, you take really low offers, you do whatever you need to do, put everything on sale 25% off. I don't care. I mean, you got to pay the rent. You got to do that. But assuming this isn't, life or death, absolutely, the babies don't eat if you don't sell anything today.
Yeah.
If you have, I've got the day job, so I have a luxury that a lot of people out there do not have, is get it in your head that, again, you're listing for the 4th quarter, you're listing for October,
right?
That when I had that magazine or the pile of magazines, all the foreign language ones, I know this is going to come as a shock to you, Mr. Magazine. Ukrainian magazines don't tend to fly off the shelves.
Oh, huh. You got me. I wouldn't know.
Well, they don't tend to fly off the scared pile either.
Yeah, right.
But they don't tend to fly off the shelves, but they do sell.
Yeah.
And so as I was listening to Romanian magazines, as I was listening to Ukrainian magazines, et cetera, I'm thinking to myself, this is going to sell, maybe not necessarily even at Christmas. Maybe it'll sell the beginning of 2022. But I'm listing for the long tail for the long term. And I've still got to list items. And now I know something that a lot of people talk about, and this will be different for you depending upon what you sell. Obviously, if you're selling bathing suits and flip-flops, it's a little different than if you're selling parkas.
Yeah.
We're selling collectibles, so we're only speaking from the collectible side of things.
Right.
You know, and everybody's going to have things a little bit different depending upon what it is that you're selling.
Yeah.
But you talk about Amazon being long tail. eBay for us also is long tail. So
True,
we have to think that most of what we're listing is long tail. So the more stuff that I can list today, the more things that can sell in October, can sell in November, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
But you do a lot of times, and this is really what I should do, and this is probably a good tip out there to a lot of people. You had a conversation with me today about one of your listers.
Okay.
And this lister enjoys listing sports cards.
Right.
And what did you tell me about the listing of sports cards?
As far as like I give him to him because he enjoys it, or the fact that we're going to slow him down a little bit.
That's the slow down part. Yeah.
Like, so instead of selling $10 sports cards, we're going to sell $50 sports card sets. So he's still doing what he likes, but I'm going to get more money short term.
Right. And that's what it comes down to. That was kind of the point I was getting at is I know Auction Professor, friend of the channel, on his last live show was talking about a lot of people have some really good stuff. Just take the good stuff, pull it down off the shelf and list it now at the, don't list it at 99-cent auction or anything like that.
Right.
List it at the price that you want to get out of it. And if it's new collectibles, good collectibles to the market, it still will sell. It'll goose your sales a little bit to make up for the slow time. So if what you're trying to do is more or less stay level, hey, sales are really, really good. I'm going to go and I'm going to take a bunch of long-term items and list those now. I'm going to take a day because sales have been really good all week long. I'm going to take a day and list stuff that's going to sell 6 months from now, a year from now. Hey, sales have been really, really slow this week. Let me take the good stuff down, get that listed, increase my sales for this week, and get that stuff moving. So if you mix up what you're listing and how you're listing the items, you can end up getting a nice formula that works for you to keep your sales not exactly level, but fairly level throughout the year. So when things are selling really, really well, list some of the longer term stuff because that stuff will sell in the future. Things are going a little bit slower, list the faster selling things to increase the sales.
Right. Yeah.
And I know you're I think that you're going to be doing a lot more of that in the near future with the two listers being
gone. Like I'm stockpiling, with my veteran listers gone, all these $50,000 to $5,000 items I've been stockpiling from these collections. I just can't, be anxious and throw them on there because I don't have experienced listers. They have the knowledge to list it correctly and take the time to research and so forth. So I'm going to stockpile now, and hopefully by Christmas season or Thanksgiving time, I'll have someone that I can trust or mold them into that type of lister like I have the other ones.
Well, in worst case scenario, you can be that lister if sales really do slow down.
Right.
You can grab a
couple of $1,000 items, well, for example, I bought a couple Trae Young Prism rookies, silver rookies a couple weeks ago. He was in the playoffs for basketball.
Right.
And they were about $1,500 a piece on eBay. But this guy was firm at $1,000 a piece. I said, well, I can make some money on eBay, but I looked on Amazon and they're $2,000. I said, all right, I'll give you the $2,000, $1,000 per card. We put them both on Amazon for $2,000. They haven't sold yet, and he's out of the playoffs, but eventually they will sell. But now I'm thinking like, geez, now I got $2,000 tied up. Let me take one off Amazon, put it on eBay, and see if I can get that $1,500 now. So now I'm only into $500 out for the other one that'll sell for $2,000 at some point. So some strategy, I guess.
Yeah, no, you definitely have to do that kind of thing, and especially because you've got, your expenses are going to go down a little bit in the near future,
Yeah.
because going to be down 2 employees. They're going to go down a little bit just because of that.
Even my enterprise store, I'm saving $1,000 just because there's less listings for the adult stuff. So, it's a little bit here and there, it'll compensate.
But on the other side of things, the other side of the coin, you're not going to have those items listed that those listers are listing.
Correct.
You don't have the adult stuff on eBay anymore.
So my future sales are going to dip, So, it might be steadily low or just gradually getting lower until Christmas season, or Black Friday. So, we'll see how it goes. But I definitely got a lot of good stuff to get on there at some point.
Yeah. Well, that's where I teach random neighborhood kid, and then you have them learn on my dime,
for sure,
and then you steal them away from me. And I know last week I talked a little bit. I don't want to spoiler alert for Mr. Magazine who hasn't seen the show yet. I did talk about.
I'm gonna go see it tonight.
There you go. Yeah, stay up and binge it.
That's right.
Where I've got numbers going back to 2002, I believe it is. Daily sales numbers all the way back to there. So what I have found in the collectible secondhand trade, and this will help people out there that sell the same sort of product mix that we sell, is things get a little bit slow right near the end of July, and things get pretty slow right at the end of August. I think the July is a vacation situation.
Right.
And the end of August, I think, is the last vacation, like right before the holidays, the last vacation, people doing the school shopping, people doing all that. And then it stays down a little bit for the first couple of weeks of September when everybody's heading back to school, all that going on.
Right.
But the other weeks of August and the next couple of weeks of July aren't too bad. So that's just historically the way things are going. So for the next couple of weeks, sales should be okay overall. And obviously I hope so. Expect a little bit of dip at the end of the month, expect a dip at the end of, August into the beginning of September, and then things start picking up again. So, and again, it's been that way pretty much consistently since 2002.
Right.
It could change obviously, but if I've got 18 years worth of track record that say it's here, down, up, here, down, it's probably going to be the same way.
Right.
So again, don't panic. And I know I talked last week that when you have a bad sales day or a couple of bad sales days, you start asking everybody, are your sales down? Are your sales low? Are you, because you're all worried, like, did I do something wrong? Nobody's seeing my items. What's going on? But then when you talk and you find out 4, 5, 6 people that you talk to all say, oh, sales are terrible.
Right.
Or slow, then you say, okay, it's a site-wide thing. It's not just me.
Yeah.
And that's one of the great things about having a community like this is everybody kind of, a lot of people reach out to me, us Instagram, on Facebook, through the channel, et cetera, and everybody shares what's going on. And it really does build that community.
Yeah.
And it definitely does make it so if my sales are low and 3 different people all comment, yeah, my sales are low as well. I don't panic as much.
Right, yeah.
At least, misery loves company, I guess is the way it is. But at least I'm saying, okay, it isn't me. I didn't do something wrong. I'm not on eBay's S list where they don't want to show my items.
Right, exactly.
Hey, everybody's going slow right now.
I'm wondering one thing though with the adult stuff, people losing that, that sell on both adult and non-adult on eBay. Would maybe like with the algorithms, would my non-adult stuff start creeping up again? Like sales?
That's actually a really good question because you have a sales level that is expected. And I'll make it up. I'm completely making it up here. I have no idea what it is, but you're expected to sell $2,000 a day because you've historically sold $2,000 a day for the last 3 years.
Right.
Well, all of a sudden you're losing $1,000 a day worth of that because of the adult.
Right.
Will they pump your item up a little more in search? And maybe it won't make up the whole thing, but if enough people see your item near the top on the search, maybe at least instead of it going down to the 1,000 that it would have been, you did 1,000, maybe it'll be 1,500 now. Not at all. Who knows? So that is actually a really good question.
We'll see what happens. Just play it by ear. If I'm selling more magazines, who knows? It could be a pattern.
Well, when you start selling a lot of Romanian magazines, because you're cutting into my territory.
I will never do that.
Actually, I'm going to do let's get into because I'm going to change the rambling story of the week. This actually is a pretty funny. We were just talking about the Ukrainian magazine, so I'll save the one that I have here for next week. You didn't even read what it was. You're not going to like this one either.
Oh, okay.
So Rochester has a very large Ukrainian population. We've got a couple of Ukrainian churches, a lot of Ukrainians around here. And they've got a couple of churches have some, bake sale kind of deals with some really, really good stuffed cabbage, all that kind of thing. Just big Ukrainian thing. And I've actually done very well buying Ukrainian books at various sales around here because you can buy them dirt cheap, and I ended up selling them well and all that kind of stuff. Well, on my day job, I had to go to a gentleman who was Ukrainian. Well, I'd never worked with him before. The way the day job used to work, things have changed a little bit because of the pandemic, but the way that it used to work is I would send a letter out to you and I'd say, hey, I'm coming out Tuesday at 9 o'clock or whatever the time happens to be. Yeah. Well, I sent the guy the letter, and he was a Ukrainian roofer, and I show up at his door at the time I'm supposed to. Right. And I go and I knock on the door, and he doesn't answer right away. Right. But his truck's still in the driveway, et cetera, et cetera. So I'm like, oh, he's home. Yeah. So I knock on the door again, and he comes to the door, and he moves the curtain. He just kind of looks at me. And he opens the door. Can I help you? And I said, oh, yeah, I'm here for, and I explained who I was, where I was. Yeah. And he goes, oh, okay. Yeah, come on in. He goes, I'm really, really sorry. And I said, what? He goes, back home in the Ukraine, the way you're dressed and the way you look like somebody that they send to your doorstep when you did something wrong. So I'm not sure. Apparently I look like the Ukrainian secret police. Oh my God, that's great. Good for you. Hey, we all have to have a look, and that's my look. Yeah, yeah. You're handsome. I'm the Ukrainian secret police. I'm something. Hey, you want to do a quick run? We missed a lot here. We had a lot going on today. Jeez, let's see. We'll do that. We'll head on out. Let's see. Let me go with this one here. Oddly enough, I've seen Taco Bell sauce packets on eBay, so it makes me think about my uniform. So I get lucky on a board night. Nice. Yeah. Some of the stuff that they sell on there. I just saw. I believe shout out to Primetime and his Facebook group. If you haven't ever been on there, definitely go join that. It's a lot of fun and you learn a lot over there. Somebody on there was showing one of their big finds that they had made. Oh, nice. 1990s, new old stock, Charmin toilet paper. But it wasn't because of the pandemic or any of that. It was from the 1990s, and they think that they're going to end up selling it to companies that do movies and TV shows and that kind of thing, because it's still in the original packaging from that part. The old version, okay. The old thing of that over there. Old so artwork. They were all happy about that. And I said, I go to a lot of estate sales, and I never look at that kind of stuff, but that could very well be sitting. So it was not necessarily a bolo, because we don't know if the gentleman's going to sell it or not, but it's kind of, well, I guess the bottom line is, worst case, you can always use it. Yeah, absolutely. So you can't lose on that one. But that's just kind of the interesting things out there. And you were talking about that. Have you ever, and I know we've looked at it in the past, have you ever looked at what the old, you might be too young to remember it. Do you remember when McDonald's used to have the clamshells? That you held the quarter pounders and all that. Whatever. Breakfast sandwiches, whatever. $20, $30 a piece now. Holy cow. For any of that. Crazy. So that's another, I don't know, I guess if you go on an estate sale or in a house call with somebody that used to work at McDonald's and they kind of grab that just to keep it. Oh, I used to work at McDonald's. This is pretty neat. And they grab it as a souvenir, those kind of things. Yeah. They go for 20, 30 bucks a piece. The Tang, that one sale? Oh, yeah. Everybody, yeah. Yeah. So the sale I bought those stamps from, they had, the previous owners had Tang, like unopened cases of it. But apparently they were donating all the food that was still good to some place, and they couldn't sell that at that point. But some of them were like $50, $100 one canister. It's crazy. Oh, some of that. There is, growing up, it used to be Nestea iced tea. This stuff was so sweet that if you took a sip of it, your teeth would fall out. And I absolutely loved it. It just great tasting, and I've never found an iced tea that tastes like that. And I'd buy containers all the time. Yeah. It's not being made anymore. Wow. And if you can find the containers of that, now they're all out of date now because they're so old and all that kind of stuff, but they're selling for like $50 for a container that used to run you like $8. Wow. And I'm pretty sure the people that are buying them are drinking it because they like the flavor of it, because there's nothing with a flavor even close to that. It basically, you know what sugar tastes like? Yeah. This tastes like sweet sugar. Wow. So it's, It will rot your teeth out taking a sip. But you know, that kind of stuff out there. And I know Auction Professor's done some of his Bolo videos about that kind of stuff, that you can go to the supermarket, kind of find the closeout clearance area. And if it's something that they're making anymore, you end up getting good money out of it. Even some of the stuff like I know we watched one, and it was some of the stuff like laundry detergent and stuff like that was discontinued, but you could still sell it for $50, $100 for one package.
Crazy.
Yep.
Nuts.
So neat. I sold toilet paper because they are blue and pink, where they no longer make. There you go.
Nice. Yeah.
Actually, it's funny. I was listing a magazine this morning. It was what the heck magazine? It was a Calliers magazine, I believe it was. And they did have an advertisement right in the front for pink toilet paper, as a matter of fact. Wow. So it was kind of nice, neat package. And what went through my head, of course, as a reseller, is I'm looking at it going, I wish I could find that at a sale. Because, you know, again, you just know it would be worth a fair amount of money, because it's, you know, 1950 package of toilet paper still unopened. Yeah. It definitely would be. Yeah. Linda wished I had this toilet paper rolls and a Beavis t-shirt, an ETP. There you go. There you go. All righty. We've all gotten kind of goofy tonight. Hopefully, what do I have to tell people?
Hit the like button. See? Haven't missed a beat. Missed a beat.
Hit the like button if you could. Subscribe if you haven't already. We got a good rambling story of the week for next week, but now we know that I look like a Ukrainian Secret Service member, or a secret, whatever they're called, the secret police of the Ukraine. Think we had a lot of fun tonight. Thank everybody over there for participating. It was a good time tonight. And we will see you next week.
Take care. Bye-bye.